Hey hun, do you know when you start off with your food forest garden, all your plants really have a specific song that they enjoy? And do you know what ours is?
What is ours?
Ours is Don't Stop Beliefin' by Journey.
Hi, and welcome to Suburban Life Permaculture. I'm Holly, and we're so glad that you're here with us today. And today, we're going to talk about specifically our food forest journey and how you can start your journey in only 2 steps.
Let me guess. 2 steps. Get plants and plant them.
Now that is a way you can start, but let me tell you 2 things you can do without going out and buying plants. So let's start out with our journey. So like a lot of other people did back in 2020, we started a garden. I've been talking about it for years, but never really felt like I was inspired to do it yet. And when it was hard to go out and do too many things, decided that's what I was going to do. And since I was raised on a farm in Michigan, I thought, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing. Grabbed some seeds, went and planted, and it failed miserably. So what I started doing, being the researcher that I am, I started researching. And as I went, I learned one very important thing, and that is to plant in what grows well in your area. Not only what grows well, but when it grows well in your specific area. So that was the first thing I learned. And I also discovered permaculture. Now, you may be wondering what permaculture is, and I like to compare it to sustainable agriculture, and I'm not knocking sustainability. I think that's wonderful, but in essence, it's just not making things worse. When you talk permaculture, it is making things better. It's regenerative. It is making things better than when you found them. After that, I went ahead and decided what could I plant in a place that was humid and hot and sometimes had drought issues. So I started searching and discovered cranberry hibiscus. Love that plant. And that was probably because it was my first foray into planting for my permaculture food forest, and it did wonderfully. So of course that encouraged me, but you don't have to start out with buying plants. So that leads me to our first thing. How can I start today without even stepping outside of my house? Well, if you have any kind of beans in your pantry, they will grow. Now, if they're older, you might have a little bit harder time. You might have to plant several beans, but we have done this many times. In fact, my husband has planted black beans, kidney beans, what other ones?
Red beans.
Red beans. I mean, you name it, we probably planted it, and they grew. And that was just going to the store, and we, of course, this costs a whole lot less per bean, or seed in this case, than you would find in a little packet of seeds. So this, if you've got beans, you can go get planted, start getting things planted today. After our success with cranberry hibiscus, we discovered longevity spinach, and it just escalated from there. And this is just our little nursery area. This is where I make cuttings. This is where I keep the mama plants that I make cuttings from, that I go ahead and create these cuttings and put them in the food forest. but that's another video. Just 2 weeks ago, we did just that with these. I planted 2 pigeon peas in there, and we have one lovely plant started. This is 2 weeks of growth. Check it out. The other step, step 1, don't forget, that is to go into your pantry and get those legumes that you have in there. I know you've got them. Next, we have start some compost. I guarantee you that you have many things in your house right now that you're going to throw away that you can turn into this soil. We put in coffee grounds, food scraps, grass clippings, toilet paper rolls, towel rolls. We have scrap paper. If your junk mail doesn't have ink on it, you can go ahead and, well, colored ink. If your scrap mail, junk mail does not have colored ink on it, you can add that to this pile as well. You can put in leaves, you can put in whatever it is that you've got that you're tempted to put in a bag and send to the landfill. If it is alive or was alive, you can go ahead and throw it in here. Now there are some limitations to that depending on who you talk to. It really just depends on what you have and how you're going to treat it with this. And you don't have to do, this is just a pile, a little section in our backyard. We do have a tumbler, but we don't always use it, and we've been actually using this more. The tumbler works if you want to, spend some money on it, but you don't have to. If you would prefer to have something different than just this pile, look and see if your county holds some sort of composting class. We have one here that our county puts on that is free, and you get a free composter unit out of the deal. You just sit there and listen to it about what they tell you, which again is a free class about composting. And they'll give you some do's and don'ts like I mentioned here, but honestly, if it was alive, you could throw it in. There's really no hard and fast rules. It just depends on how quickly you want it to compost and break down. So some tips: make sure what you put in here is pretty small. I mean, and I'm talking about like little sticks here rather than something really big. If you're going to throw some big pieces of wood in here, maybe chip it up first. And if you wet it and turn it, it's going to break down faster. But if you just set it and forget it, it will eventually break down. It just won't be as fast. We do have another video about composting, actually a couple of them, one with using our backyard chickens. So I'll go ahead and link that in the description. And for now, I'm just going to scoop some out, and we'll go ahead and plant some plants. Now don't forget, when you're planting things, don't forget about your pollinators. They're going to be able to help you grow the food that you want, right? So even in a suburban lot, you can do that very easily. You don't have to go out and buy something if you don't want to. You can just save a section of your yard to just let it grow wild. Let nature do what it wants to, and see how wonderfully it works. Let me go show you what we do. Now, to create these 2 areas, all it took was some creative mowing. And Joe just went around one area, went between them, and then made 2 little areas. And we're just letting nature take its course because it is full of things that the pollinators love. Check it out. I don't know how well you guys can see it, but there's like tons of them. Yeah, they move when we come close. Oh, there's a bee. I don't know if you can see see it? Oh, he moved. Yeah, they're like, whoa, I'm camera shy. Oh, there's a little bee there. So many different bee species here. Oh, here's a wasp. There's another one. Just in this little circle. And this is just a slightly bigger circle. We're just letting them do their thing, and they're getting lots of food, and pollination happens, and then they're fed while the rest of our food forest garden is getting ready to flower. So we keep them around. Oh, there's a butterfly. And all this is just an unmowed section of our yard. We just said, all right, go ahead, it's yours. Have at it. And look at how abundant it is. Oh, here's our butterfly. Butterfly. Happy little butterfly. All right, let's go back to your journey. So now that you've made some compost, and let's say, I promised you today, absolutely, if you have dirt in your yard that you can just dig up or stick this seed right in the ground, just go ahead and do it. I'm putting it in a pot for two reasons. I have to use my compost with this because we're growing in sand, and we need some better nutrition. We want to start building our soil. But if you have better soil than us, which I really hope you do, then you don't have to worry about that. So I'm just getting our pigeon pea, and I'm just putting 2 more in there. And covering that up. And in a couple weeks, once I water this in, we're going to have somebody like this waiting to be put out in the food forest. And of course, I'm going to water this in with what we've collected. But that's another part of that food forest journey that you'll go on, because there are so many other steps you could choose to try or not. But that is the wonderful thing about permaculture. There's so many things that you can find to work on in your food forest. So tell us, what kind of beans do you have in your pantry that you could go in and start today? This will make a tree. But the other kinds, like black beans and things like that, that will make a smaller, little bushier plant or ground cover. And they all fix nitrogen, which will feed your other plants. Tell us in the comments below. And I don't care if you like, subscribe, or share. You do you. Carpe diem, y'all.